my name is Andrea. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm sharing 4 high-end Etsy-inspired Christmas DIYs. So let's jump right in. The first high-end Etsy Christmas decor piece we're going to recreate is this wood round Christmas sign, which is $50. I'm using this wood round sign from Dollar Tree. I'm staining it with this oak gel stain from DECOR. I'm painting on the stain, then spreading it around with a cloth. I'm covering the whole sign with this wood stain, even though we are going to be covering up some of it with paint, but I wasn't sure exactly where the lines would be, so I thought it would just be easier to cover the whole thing. I really like how this stain looks on the wood round. I think it's looking so much more high-end already. I'm creating my vinyl stickers in Cricut Design Space. I added a circle the same size as my sign and 2 lines as a guide for how big to make the words. Christmas is in the font Hello Honey from dafont.com, and the Have Yourself a Merry Little part is in the Arial Narrow font. I deleted the circle and the lines, then cut out the words on my Cricut. I'm adding 2 strips of painter's tape to the sign. I'm using this black chalk paint, and I'm painting the sign above the top piece of tape and below the second piece of tape. At this point, I was kind of regretting adding the black paint because I thought the wood stain looked so good, and I was really worried I was ruining it by painting over it with black. I was committed though, so I kept going, and I'm glad I did because I think this sign ends up turning out so nice. So just have to stick with me here. Now that the paint is dry, I'm peeling off the painter's tape. The lines ended up really crisp, looking so good, which I am so happy about. Now I'm adding the decals onto the sign, placing the Christmas vinyl onto the wood stain part, then the Have Yourself a Merry Little vinyl onto the black section just above Christmas. It can be really tricky peeling off the clear transfer paper from these cursive letters, so you just have to go slowly and use one of the Cricut scraper tools to hold down the letters and just peel one at a time. I have this black, red, and white ribbon from Walmart, and I'm going to make a large bow for the top of the sign. I'm unraveling the ribbon to make a tail on the end, then creating a loop at the top. This will be the center of the bow. Then I'm creating 2 more loops, slightly bigger than the first one, and I'm putting them on either side of the first loop and twisting them each a couple of times. Then I'm repeating this process with 2 more loops, slightly larger than the previous 2. I'm tying the bow all together with floral wire, and I'm also holding it in place with some hot glue. I'm cutting the other end of the ribbon to create the second tail. Before I secure the bow to the sign, I'm adding these evergreen picks from Dollar Tree. They come in a pack of 6, and I'm using all 6 for this sign, arranging them in a crisscross fashion, then hot gluing them in place. Now I'm hot gluing my bow to the top of the sign, then trimming the ends of it so they don't cover up the words. Today's video is part of the Santa's Little Reindeer Hop, and there is a huge giveaway involved that you do not want to miss. I've teamed up with 10 other crafters here on YouTube, and we are giving away $110 via PayPal to one lucky winner. All you have to do is watch all 11 videos in the hop and watch them all the way through so you can collect all 11 secret words. Once you've collected all the words along with whose word it was, send an email to the address in my description box. Make sure you don't say the secret words in the comments. And stay tuned for later in the video to find out my secret word. Click the link in my description box to go to the next person in the hop and make sure you cycle through all the videos. Good luck! The next high-end Etsy-inspired Christmas DIY we're going to recreate is this Christmas countdown sign, which is $33. I'm using this stretched canvas from Dollar Tree, and I'm cutting off the canvas from the frame, then trimming the canvas. I'm sanding the frame, and I'm staining it with this oak gel stain. When I made this project, it was actually my first time using the stain, and I didn't know how much to put on. I didn't realize you don't need to put on this much, just brush on some of it, then wipe it with a cloth. I'm creating the Christmas countdown in Cricut Design Space. The word Christmas is in the Halloween Dreams script font, and the word countdown is in the Magical Mystery font, both from dafont.com. I'm ungrouping the word Christmas and deleting the letter I. Now I'm inserting a Christmas tree SVG and putting it in the place of the I. I made a rectangle the size of the canvas to give me an idea how big I want to make my design. I'm adding the numbers 1 to 24 along with an SVG of Santa and his reindeer. I used the slice tool to make Christmas countdown into 2 stencils because I'll be painting them on the canvas. I cut everything out and now I'm weeding it and sticking them onto the canvas. I'm using this red acrylic paint from Dollar Tree and a green paint from DECOR to paint the word Christmas on the canvas. I actually do not recommend you do this part if you recreate this. The reason I made it into a stencil is because I didn't have the colors of vinyl that I wanted the words to be. However, you will see the lines are not very crisp from the paint and I end up having to fix it. If you have red and green vinyl, I definitely recommend using that instead. Here you can see it doesn't really look the best, so I'm going over all the edges of the letters with a red fine liner pen, and this cleans it up and makes it look so much better. I'm doing the same thing with Countdown, going over the outline with a green fine liner. Another thing I will say is if you do go the painting route, be patient while it dries and be careful not to smudge. I did have a couple smudges from the paint near the top of the sign, which were kind of hard to fix. I did cover a lot of it up with the frame, but that's just another reason I recommend using vinyl for the letters. I'm sticking the December calendar to the canvas. I'm trimming the canvas down even more. I laid the frame down on top as a guide to figure out how much I needed to cut off. For our daily marker, I'm making a mini wreath out of this pipe cleaner garland and a few berries from this berry garland. To start, I'm making a circle out of floral wire. Then I'm wrapping the pipe cleaner around the wire. This wasn't a regular pipe cleaner with the wire inside. It was a lot more flimsy, so it was really easy to wrap around the floral wire. But if you're using regular pipe cleaner, you could probably even skip the floral wire part. I'm hot gluing the ends in place, then adding a couple of red berries to the wreath. I'm taking this red and white string and I'm tying a bow to add to the bottom of the wreath. Now I'm hot gluing the frame to the canvas. I added a push pin above the number 1, then hung the wreath on it. Every day in December, I'll move the pin over and hang the wreath on the next day. The next high-end Etsy Christmas DIY we're going to recreate is this Nativity sign, which is $55. I'm using this rectangular sign from Dollar Tree, and to fill in the 2 holes, I'm using a mixture of white craft glue and baking soda. I mixed a bit of it together in a container to create a paste, then I used a craft stick to push it into the holes and smooth it over and let it dry. To create a nice wood effect on the sign, I'm using white acrylic paint along with the shade Country Twill from Plaid. I'm squeezing lines of each color of paint on the sign in the direction I want the wood grain to go, alternating between the white and the beige. Now I'm brushing out the paint with a paintbrush, blending the 2 colors together in between. You want to go slowly with this, blending and adding paint as needed. I switched paintbrushes a couple of times so I'd have a clean one to work with. because I didn't want the colors to totally blend together, but I wanted it to have some dimension like real wood. Now that I'm happy with the base, I'm going in with burnt umber paint from Dollar Tree, and I'm adding a bit over top, again painting in the same direction. This is where it starts to look a little crazy, but once you get it all blended, it's gonna look so nice. I found this free Nativity SVG online. I'm arranging it on a rectangle the same size as my sign. For some reason, the stars from the SVG turned into little pentagons when I inserted it into the project, so I'm deleting those and inserting my own stars using the Cricut shapes. I'm also deleting the words Silent Night and Holy Night, and I'll be replacing those later. In the Etsy version of the sign, the wise men were on the left and the shepherds were on the right, so I'm flipping these images and putting them on the other side. I'm also moving each image a little further away from each other, so the whole thing is not so squished. I deleted the angel, and I'm adding back in Silent Night and Holy Night using the font Good Cream from dafont.com. I cut out the design in 3 parts, the shepherds and the animals together, the wise men and the camel, and the manger. Now I'm arranging them on the sign to see where I want them all to go. I'm using transfer tape to stick the designs onto the sign. The next Etsy Christmas DIY we're going to recreate is this simple gold wreath, which is $70. I have this metal wreath form from Dollar Tree. This was one of the rings from the 3-ring wreaths. I'm painting it gold with this gold glass paint from DECOR. You could also spray paint it gold, but it was a little cold outside, so I decided to just paint it by hand instead. Now that the wreath is painted, it's time to add the embellishments. All of these Christmas picks are from Dollar Tree, and the berries are from Dollarama. I'm arranging them along the bottom of the wreath, and I'm attaching everything with floral wire. I'm also using hot glue in some areas to keep things in place. I can also now tell you my secret word for the giveaway is Cupid, after the reindeer Cupid. Make sure to write down my name along with the secret word and collect all of the words in the hop to be entered into the giveaway. I'm using this red ribbon from Dollar Tree to make a small bow at the bottom of the wreath. I just tied it into a bow and I'm hot gluing it to the greenery. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please let me know in the comments which of the 4 DIYs was your favorite. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time.